This is Marcus Korvab with Studio MMA and MMA Nyt, and we're here with Vinny Magalhaes, who's fresh off a win, 2011 ADCC. Congratulations. How do you feel?
You know, I feel pretty good. That's, you know, I could say that I hit like in the highest like spot that I could hit like in grappling. You know, when I first started training, like, you know, everybody, I would be always looking like up to the guys that had won Abu Dhabi, or guys that had won the worlds with the gi. So I ended up like winning the worlds. I was like, you know, I wasn't 100% happy yet, because I had not won Abu Dhabi. Then my second Abu Dhabi and go there and win. So it's like, you know, I'm pretty happy about my grappling career, which pretty much, in my opinion, it's over now. You know, I hit that spot. Now I just like, I'm done. I just want to focus on MMA.
So you're done. You're not gonna do any more.
For now, I'm saying that I'm done. But you know, in 2 years, there's another Abu Dhabi, so possibly I'm gonna be doing that one again. Since like, you know, being the winner, you get like automatically invitation. So I'm gonna be on the next one, like, for sure. So far I'm not planning, but you know, I know like once like they say like, hey, Abu Dhabi's coming, likely I'm gonna be, you know, get the itch. I'm end up like wanting to fight and want to compete. So who knows? So far I don't want to, but maybe I will.
I know someone who really wants you to get in there, who wants a rematch very, very badly, and that's Fabricio Verdum. We, you know, I trained with him in LA, and he hasn't slept since. That armbar, you know, he actually just texted me to say congratulations first of all, and I know personally, he's like that arm being extended, and he said that you said afterwards it wasn't close.
You know, he was not close to like break. He was not close to make me tap. But the thing is, like, the first second in the armbar like got me a little bit worried. It was like, you know, this sucks. I should not, you know, it's not comfortable being here. Even though it's not hurting, it was like, it's not comfortable being here, because like it could take just a little like right movement for him to finish the move or break my arm. So the thing is, he had the right arm, but I see like a lot of people like writing stuff. Oh, he messed up because he didn't squeeze his knees in and stuff like that. To be honest with you, I was trapped. That's the reason why I stayed like in the armbar for 2 minutes. If it wasn't tight, I would have gone out like in the first, as soon as I got in. So the thing is, as he was turning my arm, like, you know, he would try to like control my thumb. First of all, I closed my fist so he couldn't control my thumb. So as I closed my fist, every time he would turn like to one direction, I would just overdo it instead of like fight back. Because I was thinking like, well, if I fight back, I'm gonna be putting my arm like in the right spot, and that's what he wants. So if he would turn to the right, I would just overdo it to the right. And certain like parts like in the video, you can see that he looks my arms like bending backwards, but he's actually like bending the right way. It's like just like, you know, bending the right way. So it wasn't like nowhere like close to break or anything like that. And nothing wrong on his technique. Like, you know, again, as he even said, like, you know, like early before like in the tournament, he finished Jeff Monson with the same armbar. So there's nothing wrong with his technique. So.
Yeah, he jokingly said afterwards, he said, when I did it to Jeff Monson, I heard clack, clack, clack in his arm, and he goes, it was okay that Vinny was winning the fight, I just wanted to hit one clack, that's all I wanted.
Yeah, actually I heard he saying that too, like, yeah. But you know, he didn't pop at all. I'll be honest with you though, like at the day of the tournament, I didn't feel anything. 4 days later, my elbow got a little sore. Not like sore, like hurting, just like tender, but I think it was just from stretching out. It was nothing to do like with, it didn't pop, it was just like from stretching out, the muscles like surround my elbow like were a little sore.
I'm sure he's glad to get a little bit of redemption to hear that at least. He said jokingly, he said, now we'll have to fight MMA instead. And talking about MMA,
he's a heavyweight, man.
He said it kind of jokingly. It was, but talking about MMA, you just come off. You're on a run right now. You just won the title in M1 with a beautiful head kick knockout. You wouldn't expect that from the Abu Dhabi champion.
You know, like. That's a hate that I always practice. You wouldn't expect it from me, because like if you see my last few fights, I'm always trying to like go for the takedown, take to the ground, and I don't keep a secret. I tell everybody that's how it's gonna go. I'm gonna try to take the guy down and finish on the ground. But apparently, like in that fight, it was not working. I took the guy down a couple times, had him on the ground, and he was just like really slippery. So I could not keep him down, and I could not work in a submission. So I was like, you know, I just got to change my strategy, and I ended up doing something that I do all the time in practice. But I just never had the confidence of doing a fight. And that fight, I felt like I had to do it, so it worked out well for me. So, you know, it was pretty cool too, you know, because that's like my second like TKO or KO finish like in my last 3 fights. So it's like, you know, I feel like I'm progressing as a fighter.
Oh, absolutely. So you won the Worlds, you won Abu Dhabi, the M1 champion. It doesn't stop there. Now we're getting some drama as well. I heard, I saw on your Facebook you put M1, you can have your belt back. What's going on?
You know, like as soon as I left like the ring, like after my last fight, I had like my corner and my manager telling me the Evgeny Kogan, the M1 director or president, whatever he is, was rooting for my opponent like during my fight. And then I was like, well, not a big deal, you know. maybe he wasn't even rooting for him, just excited because he was watching the fight. So just like as a fan, he was just excited for like whatever was happening. But then then I watched the fight at home. Then I just noticed that he was just like being excited every time the guy would like do something well. So if the guy would hit me, he'd just like clap his hands, be overexcited, be like telling something to the guy. I didn't know like what he was saying because he was speaking Russian, but he was telling something to the guy. And then I posted that on my Facebook, and then he got upset. Then he admitted to my manager that he actually was giving instructions to the guy. So he wasn't just like really rooting. He was giving.
This is the promoter.
This is the promoter. So it's like, well, you would expect that from a fan. Like you go to fights, you see how it is. Like you see fans like elbows, knees. That's not really coaching. Like but the guy was like ringside, like who trains, who knows the guy. He knows the guy because I remember when I had a seminar like in Russia, Magalhaes, my opponent, he attended my seminar. And Evgeny Kogan was the guy who set up the seminar. So, they know each other well. So he should not be, like, telling the guy, like, what to do against me, how to fight me. And he even said, well, I was not telling him, like, to, F you up. I wasn't saying anything like that. I was just telling him just to be careful with your right side because that's the side that you set up your moves. I was like, well, you give him instructions and you tell him the things that I like to do. So it's like, you shouldn't be doing that as a promoter. You should just stay quiet, just watch the fight. You get excited because like something happened. That you should be excited for both, not just like one guy's doing things,
In fact, it's not just ethically incorrect; it's actually illegal. It's a conflict of interest, and a promoter, you're not supposed to be doing that, even if you feel a certain way. Absolutely right. So, what does this lead to now? What's going to happen now?
Well, I still have a contract with M-1. I would say, like, being honest, unfortunately, I still have a contract with M-1. If it was for me legally, if I could, I would just get out of that contract. Because I don't feel like fighting for for someone that treats me that way, But I still have a contract with them, so I might have to take more fights with M1, and after that, there's no chance for me to renew with them. No chance. There's nothing that's gonna make me renew with them. Which is totally the opposite of what I've been saying before. Before this whole situation, before all this thing happened, I've been saying in every single interview, M1 gave me a chance when nobody else gave me a chance. They gave me a 6-fight deal. They gave me a title fighter chance. I ended up winning the title. So so far into that fight, everything was going really well. So I told everybody when it comes time to renew a contract, we'll just talk about a new contract. I'm gonna give the priority to M1. I'm not gonna talk about signing with anybody else before I talk to M1 first. But at this point, after all this thing happened, once my contract is over, it's over. I'm not gonna resign with M1. There's no chance for me to keep any kind of relationship with the company.
Have you spoken directly to the president himself?
Usually I let my manager just talk about contract, about all the situation. I just go there and fight. That's the only thing that I kind of speak a little bit was about the whole situation that I saw, and I put on my Facebook, and that was it. But I try not to talk directly with anybody. I just let my manager do that part.
So, a couple more fights with M1, and then you want to leave. Anyone in particular that you want to go with?
Well, I wouldn't mind to go anywhere else. To be honest with you, it's gonna be good actually for me to get these 2 fights with M1. That just hopefully I'm gonna win the next couple of fights, and that's gonna give me just better numbers in my record too. So it's good. As for getting fights, it's good. Unfortunately, it has to be for M1, but as any other professional fighter, if you ask what they want to be in the UFC. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie that I want to go somewhere else and fight in Japan. I heard people are not paying well in Japan, or if they pay, or if not, sometimes it takes 6 months to a year. So yeah, I would take a fight in Japan, but do I want to stay in Japan, fight in Japan, finish my career in Japan? Of course not. My goal is to go to the UFC. So once I'm done with M1, we're gonna try to get another shot in the UFC.
You're in a good house for MMA training, Extreme Couture. You have some of the obviously best fighters in the world.
Yeah.
Who gives you the most trouble here? Who'd you learn the most from? You obviously come from a great grappling background. You've improved your stand up. Who do you feel that brings more to your game here?
Well, I have a bunch of guys here that they have different backgrounds. So I have great wrestlers that help me a lot with wrestling. Great strikers that beat me up standing and stuff like that. But a guy who helps me the most overall, who has well-rounded ground game, striking, wrestling, it's Forrest Griffin. Forrest is the guy. If I'm getting close to a fight, and if he's also getting close to a fight, that's my best training partner, because you can just do striking the whole time. It's gonna be pretty back and forth training. You can go to the grounds. It's gonna be back and forth training. Actually, his ground is pretty overrated, by the way, because it's really hard for me to ever get a submission Forrest. People don't realize that how good he is on the ground. Just maybe because he doesn't use it much in his fight, or he doesn't, maybe he doesn't have the confidence. Just I didn't have on throwing that kick. It's not like I don't have good kicks. I never really tried. And the same thing with Forrest. He's really good on the ground. He just doesn't try much. maybe if he tried, he would probably like finish like a few fights in the ground. So yeah, Forrest would be that guy, you know, who's always helped me out the most.
And if you did get into the UFC, where obviously the fans know most of the fighters, is anyone in the UFC you look at them and you go, I would really like to fight that person for whatever reason? And if so, for what reason? Would it be because you think you can beat them, or because you don't like them, or because you respect them?
Well, you know, I as an athlete, plus I'm young too, I cannot just be thinking about going to the UFC and just get a few fights and make some money. Like, I'm like young enough to get better as a fighter. So my goal is to go there and like win like as many fights as I can, and hopefully one day fight like, you know, with the big dogs in the division, and hopefully one day fight for the title. But if there's anybody like specifically right now that say, I would say, well, I need to win a couple more fights, whoever they give me like the first 2 fights, and then eventually get a like, rematch against Ryan Bader. That would be my fight, you know, because like I kind of leave like, you know, I kind of just like retire one day and give like that lot, you know, that win to him like that easy, you know. So that's the guy that if I had to fight like after a couple fights in the UFC, that would be Ryan Bader.
So if Dana White called up tomorrow and said, Vinny, congratulations winning the ADCC, welcome to the UFC, and you get to pick whoever you want, it would be Ryan Bader.
Not as a first fight, especially because I don't think that would make any sense. You know, I think they would try to hype up that fight a little bit more before they give that fight right away. I don't think they would do it this way. They would bring me to the UFC and give it like Ryan right away. I think they would try to like build me up a little bit, because let's say people that are watching the show, like UFC got like so many new fans like the last couple of years. So a lot of guys don't even know me. So they would have to build me up first as a fighter, and then after a while, they actually fought like a couple years ago, and that's a rematch. I think that would sell more. So I think that's what would probably happen. They would probably give me a couple fights, winning my first 2 fights. Then there would be a possibility of me fighting Ryan. By the way, I actually really like Ryan Bader. You always hang out every time you have a chance. You know, hang out, like drink a beer and stuff like that. But it's more like, you know, the professional side of it. It's like, you know, I cannot just live with that loss. So I have to like give that back to him.
So you obviously here at Extreme Couture. You teach grappling here. Anything else going on in Vinny's life?
Not really, man. This year I decided to really focus on my career. You know, pretty much I'm just like, I come to the gym, teach my classes, then I go home, like spend like time with my son and my wife. Then that's all I do, like training, like going home. Like as you see, like, you know, in Vegas everybody's partying. I haven't been like in this trip for like over like 6 months. I just don't go out, you know. Even if I have to go to the strip, it's just to go watch a show, like a family type of thing. It's not like, you know, I'm not partying much. This year I just decided just to focus 100% on my career, get better, you know, and just like keep going in my career, and maybe like possibly going back to the UFC like sometime soon. So that's all I've been doing.
You heard it directly here from Vinny himself. Obviously on a great run with the Worlds, now ADCC, and beating a great champion in Fabrice Verdum, and M-1 champion. I'm sure you're going to see more of him. And if they want to follow you on Twitter,
it's pretty simple. I used to have the Twitter on my name. It's like Vinny Magalhaes, but everybody would misspell it. So I just kept...
including myself.
Yeah, just Vinny MMA, so just make it pretty simple.
Vinny MMA?
Yeah.
And do you have a website too?
Actually, I'm building my website now, but it's not ready yet, so I won't even give it. But it's also VinnyMMA.com. It's not ready yet, though.
Looking forward to seeing more of you. Thank you very much.